Hey guys, so I kind of noticed in this last patch that there were some things in the patch that I had kind of mentioned earlier and mentioned in previous patches, and um, kind of wanted to talk about what I feel is going to happen in the future of HOTS. And I'm not meaning this so much as um, what's going to be happening in overall Heroes of the Storm. I'm meaning more like specific changes that you can glean based off of things that have happened. For example, anytime that a hero's popularity starts going a little too low, they generally get affected by something. So if I go in here and I remove this patch and I go to one patch previous, right? And then we go down to the popularity, right? We're going to see the lowest played heroes. And look at some of them that were touched in the recent patch. We've got Sergeant Hammer. Chen's still in a pretty good spot. We've had Kerrigan touched in a previous patch. We've had Whitemane touched in the last patch. We haven't had a Valera or a Phoenix change for a little bit, but we did have buffs on Maev, and we've also had buffs on Alexstrasza. So with that being said, we can see the heroes that haven't been touched yet, and we can kind of decide, or at least determine who might get changes. We did see Probius getting changed recently. So that means that the next few heroes that are up for changes are Gaul, or maybe even a change to Chen, maybe Cho, maybe Medivh, maybe Zarya. But there are other ways to looking at the future of Heroes of the Storm as well. So if you're ever wondering about what is the best way to kind of figure out what are some of the changes that are going to happen, because I get asked a lot, people they say, NotParadox, I want to main a hero. But I'm afraid that the hero that I'm maining is gonna get nerfed, and so I don't want to practice a hero and then play a hero that's nerfed. So I'm gonna show you guys a couple methods a little bit later in this video, right? On how to determine who's likely to get changed, who's likely to get nerfed, and who's likely to get buffed. Um, but as we go through those, I did want to kind of mention that I've been right so often lately that I've honestly thought that I was psychic. I'm not even kidding. When I was mentioning it last video, that how Rhaegar's purge was changed from 45 to 60 seconds, and I just told my friend that if they changed that from 40 to 60 seconds, it would have made the difference in a few games, a few competitive matches. And I didn't tell that to anyone other than my friend, and he doesn't know anyone at Blizzard. For a while, I've been predicting a lot of these changes, but I make videos about them. And so when I make a video predicting a change, I always just figured it was a self-fulfilling prophecy. But today I think that I'm psychic. So what I've done is I went out and I bought some things that psychics use to kind of figure out what are some of the changes that are going to be happening in the future of Heroes of the Storm. We'll come back to those a little bit, but I did want to mention one interesting thing that is in Heroes of the Storm that we haven't seen a hero about yet. So I wanted to go into Heroes of the Storm and show you a couple interesting things. So a lot of the StarCraft heroes have actually predicted the next few heroes that were going to enter the game. So let me start off by saying that when we are going through all of these StarCraft heroes, a couple of them have a few things that are interesting. If we go to like Tychus, for instance, and we look at his skins, his initial skin just has a pinup of a random person. We don't know who it is. Could be his wife, could be anyone, who knows. When we go to the next skin, you can see the pinup is of Tracer. They changed this skin to have Tracer right before she released. Then we look at this skin as Widowmaker, and they changed this skin to have this on it right before they released the skin for Nova for Widowmaker. Now we can go to some of his other skins and try to look, but you see there's no real symbols in here, so it got me thinking. And I made this prediction a little while ago, and I said there was another skin that came out, and it was my prediction for the next hero to be released. If you go to Rexar, not Rag, if you go to Rexar, and you go to skins, and we go to his new StarCraft skins, you're going to notice that Misha has a pinup on the back of the original skin with a Kerrigan skin. Nothing too major. But when we go to the next couple skins, if we were to look at this skin first, we see Kerrigan, we see Overwatch, we see Diva. But this is the one that I called out 3 months before May was released. And I called out that there was an image. So it got me thinking that Blizzard likes to hide secrets on StarCraft characters. And so I started messing around with StarCraft and I noticed something interesting. When you load in to Volskaya as Tychus, the file size is 1 megabyte larger than if you load in on any other character. If anyone in your game is playing Tychus and you load into Volskaya, the file size is 1 megabyte larger than on any other character, which got me thinking, what's different when you load into Volskaya with Tychus? So I went onto Volskaya in sandbox mode. I created a lobby, started the game. I picked Tychus. Of course, I have to pick the best skin, which is him. It's really just him. It's a lot. It's kind of a lot of him, honestly. Click start game. And here's when this gets interesting. Okay, guys, I don't think you guys realize, like, this is a larger conspiracy. It goes beyond Heroes of the Storm. But I sense this, and this is where I'm coming back to. I'm pretty sure there's more going on here. So what I noticed is when I toggle Fog of War off, right? That allows me to see the entire map. And what I noticed is that there are little people hanging out, right? We see these little guys. He's got his little goggles on. He's got his little helmet on. And he looks very similar to this other guy that's sitting here too. And then I went over here. And again, we see the little helmet on. No goggles for this guy. And we've got a little helmet and goggles. Okay, nothing out of the ordinary. Little robot, I don't know. We've got this guy here. Again, no goggles, helmet, looks about the same. Now, this guy here looks a little different. And we'll talk about him in just a minute. But he does look a little different from the others. So we're going to come back to him. Now, we see another guy with a similar model to that last guy right here. Same little facial hair, same hair. And then we see this guy that's just mad at something. And we see this guy sitting on a bench. But what I've realized is when you load on any other character other than Tychus, all of these are exactly the same. Except for this one guy right here. This guy right here is different from everyone else. And he's not here if Tychus isn't in the game when you load in. So, he only appears when Tychus is in the game. Why? Well, what I was trying to figure out is it's probably a StarCraft connection. So I kind of looked around him a little bit, realized that he was working on a car, and I thought, who has that full facial hair, who's got dark brown hair, a beard, and who used to work on cars? And it clicked. It was Manx. So Arturo Manx is a character in StarCraft, and it matches. It looks just like him. And if you look up other pictures of him, you can see he's wearing a similar coat. We can only see it from the back, and it's kind of more in the Overwatchy style, but it's a similar looking coat. I think if we saw it, I mean, this one has like the shoulder things and everything, so it's probably not too similar, but in some of these pictures, it's interesting. Now, there have been concepts about him entering Heroes of the Storm in the past, but I'm pretty sure he's going to be the next hero that we're going to be seeing entering Heroes of the Storm. So I wanted to show you guys one more interesting thing. So there's another skin that's revealed. Okay? Revealed quite a bit, and it's been in the game for a long time. So I started doing some research, and I looked at some of the first heroes that were in the game, and I realized one of the original heroes that was in Heroes of the Storm, in the initial set of proposed heroes, was Abathur. Abathur was in the original list of proposed heroes. And Abathur is the mastermind of so many conspiracies over the world of StarCraft and StarCraft 2. And it got me thinking going through the StarCraft skins because they're always so revealing. And I think I was able to figure out the second hero we're going to be seeing enter the Nexus. So if you scroll through his skins, you're going to notice that there are these 3 skins, kind of like the Tychus skins. They show something interesting. They show a choo-choo train, which was added to the game after the skin was released. They show the Swarm logo, which was already in the game. Nothing too crazy, kind of similar to how Tychus had some that were already in the game. Then we saw one that was interesting, and it was little planes, and I was like, there's no planes in the game, and I don't expect there to be new planes in the game. So what did I do? Well, those look like little Carbot planes, right? And because those look like little Carbot planes, and if we count out the skins, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11. This is the 11th new skin. Of course, we're not counting the base skin, because it's not really a skin, just Abathur. This is the 11th skin. So let's look at the 11th Carbot video. So let's go to Carbot, and let's go to Carbot animations. And we're going to go to the StarCraft, and we're going to go to the 11th video. Under, that's for Heroes of Storm. We need to find StarCraft. We're going to go through. Here it is, the 11th video. But where in the video is the clue? I'm not going to play the whole video for you guys. I've done the work already. So in Heroes of the Storm, I've counted every single plane that's on him. And there are 57 planes. So when I went to the Carbot's video and I went to second 57, I noticed that there's a building in here and there's a shadow in the back and there's a sign. And the sign to me says Academy SC1 or SCL 98. So I googled Academy SCL 98. And what did I get? I got IS 98 Bay Academy. I clicked on it. What does that mean? And I realized this is a school in Brooklyn, New York. So if the StarCraft heroes are revealing things, but the Overwatch maps are the ones that are actually telling the full story, it might be an Overwatch map. So I went New York, Overwatch map. And I saw all of this, but I didn't want any of this. I wanted the wiki. And what did I see here? While Jack Morrison was a child, he and his mother visited a museum in New York. And if we click on Jack Morrison, we can see the next hero that's going to be entering Heroes of the Storm after Mangst is going to be Soldier 76. So just so you guys know, these are the 2 new heroes that are going to be entering Heroes of the Storm. There's already clues in the game. We already know it. Now, I'm going to go over just a few extra of these because I told you guys I would show you how to learn who's going to get the next buffs and who's going to get the next nerfs. To start with that, you need to go out and buy yourself a deck of tarot cards, okay? You need to buy some tarot cards. So, I've learned that I'm psychic, and I think that many of you guys are psychic too. So, I'm going to shuffle these tarot cards. And what's going to happen is I'm going to pick one of these heroes that hasn't been changed in a little while. In this case, we are going to be grabbing Zarya. Now, Zarya hasn't been changed in a little while. I think she did get a small buff at like level 7 or something, but otherwise, Zarya hasn't gotten a lot of change. I'm going to shuffle the deck a little bit. You see I'm shuffling the deck. And Going to pick a card. What do we get? We get seven of swords. I don't know if you guys can see that, but it's seven of swords. So what does seven of swords mean? Traditionally, seven of swords means that you have seven swords, but Zarya doesn't have any swords. So we have to think about it this way. What is like a sword? Well, we see there is a sword icon on Feel the Heat. So if we mouse over Feel the Heat, we can see while you're above 40% energy, Zarya's basic attack size is increased by 35%. And your basic attacks will do 50% additional damage. So what this is telling us is that this sword talent is getting a 7% buff. Increase the popularity of Zarya. You've heard it here. Now, tarot cards, I'll show you a couple more because I feel like you guys aren't believing me here. So we haven't seen Deathwing changes in a while. So we're gonna do the same thing. We're gonna get our cards. Get some good shuffling in there. And then I felt this card pop out, so we're gonna pick this card. And what we have is we have the 8 of Wands. You see those 8 wands? 8 of Wands. Okay. 8 of Wands. What does it mean? Well, traditionally, if you've really studied tarot cards, what wands mean are magic. And what 8 means? 8. So, what we need to find is magic 8. Magic 8 ball. You shake a magic 8 ball. A magic 8 ball. Sometimes you need to find another card. And when you find another card, well, that's just 9 of swords. Hold on. 10 of pentacles, 10 of wands. Do a 10. Sometimes you just need to pick your card, you know? You know what? The cards aren't working for me. You know what else I've heard about? Have you guys ever heard about reading ribbons? All right, hold on. Reading ribbons. Wait, I have a Pokemon card here. A War Turtle. Actually, a first edition War Turtle. I wonder how much a first edition War Turtle is. Look at this thing. It's in good condition. It's a good condition War Turtle. Hold up. We'll come back to reading ribbons. How much is first edition War Turtle worth? Mint 9, 221. This isn't mint. You can see there's little white marks on the edges. This is probably like a 6. So it's worth $47. Okay, that's not really worth that much. All right, back to this. Reading ribbons. Okay, so reading ribbons was it was an old school style of psychic, right? So there's like you grab ribbons and then you try to feel over them to see if you can feel something. And because I'm psychic now, I'm gonna feel over these ribbons. I'm gonna see if I find one that really fits, you know. And so the first thing I do, I've got all the ribbons in front of me right now. Let's see if I can find. Hold on, moving the ribbons around a little bit because I make sure that I've got them all in front of me. And this way we can find out what changes are happening to Deathwing. So we see that red means survival. So maybe if I pull a red ribbon, it's related to buffs. I don't know. Stability, grounding. That sounds pretty red. Orange is sexuality. I wish I had an orange ribbon with me, but I don't. Yellow is self-confidence, self-worth. I don't know how that's gonna help Deathwing, but we'll figure this out. We'll pull a ribbon first. So I'm gonna close my eyes. I'm going to pull a ribbon. What is it? This is yellow and purple. So violet is connected to spirituality, higher self, and life purpose, and yellow is self-confidence, self-worth, and personal power. So if we go back to Deathwing, personal power, rival of a god, self-worth. Okay, rival of a god is getting how many? I had 8 wands, getting an 8% increase. So now it's going to increase the damage by 408%. Doesn't sound like a great buff, but I don't know. Blizzard does weird things. So you guys have heard it here. That is the buff that Deathwing is going to be getting. The other thing that you guys can do is you can use these ribbons to figure out what are the other heroes that might be getting changes. So we see that the Deathwing got that type of change, but if we don't know what other heroes to look for, we can use a green ribbon. And you can use this green ribbon to figure out what is the next hero that's going to be changed. If you guys can't see this, this is a green ribbon, right? So make sure that you're using a green ribbon and you can scan through your computer screen and you can find the specific hero that's going to see the next change with that green ribbon. And it's really powerful on how it actually works. But before we go, I do want to show you guys one more technique. One more technique to figure out. I've kind of showed you guys how the unpopular opinion, or the unpopular heroes, how they're going to get buffs. I want to show you guys how you can tell who's getting a nerf. Use another psychic method called palm reading. So you're going to go into the Heroes of Storm and find a hero that you think is pretty strong, you're expecting might get a nerf, and we can find out what kind of nerf they're going to get. So in this case, we're going to turn Garrosh around and we're going to look at his palm, and sometimes you got to get really close to your monitor. But when I look at his palm, I notice that there's like a really long line that goes from kind of like his forearm all the way down to his palm. That means that he's going to go a long time without getting a nerf. So if you are a Garrosh player or you want to learn Garrosh, now's the time. Another one that we could look at really quick is if you go to ranged assassins and you look at Chromie, right? If you look at Chromie, you can look at her palm and you can see. So you can't see her palm at all, which means she's going to be removed from the game. And finally, if we look at Probius, I really don't want to look at Probius. So you guys can do your own psychic readings and you can find out who's being changed at what times. And feel free to join my Discord and kind of chat about other potential changes that are happening on that you sense, you divine through your abilities. Overall, guys, the changes in Heroes of the Storm can be kind of hard to figure out, but I do want to say, happy April Fool. Thank you all for watching. Feel free to check out any of my other videos, especially the previous videos around these days. If you have any questions about this, you can always throw them down below. Thank you all, and have a wonderful rest of your day.